Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in across the globe. It's Dave coming to you here live from our 180 platform. I am so honored and blessed to have this young lady with join us today for my interview series. And Cecilia, thank you for taking time out of your, I know, having followed you, how busy your life is and how really, you're just a wealth of information. You care, had such a big heart, and so much
Oh,
cares about others. But, folks, before I get into asking questions, let me give you a little bit of bio on Cecilia. She is a transformational and soulful business coach. And I can tell you, get to know her. She understands the soul. Okay. She understands. And she really does want to help you. And especially, guys, don't take it to heart. But she does focus on women to show that women, you can go through setbacks in life and you got powerful people that want to help you, show you the way. And you can go from what I like to call as a ladder approach. A lot of people, when they go through setbacks, get kicked down, and
yes.
they're just holding on to that bottom rung of the ladder, and they're hoping somebody else doesn't step on their hands. But Cecilia is going to help you not only go show you how you go through a setback and show up and remain, have joy in God's promise, remain steadfast, break through them walls, but she is so passionate. And I love people that are passionate about what they do. So let me give you a little bit more about Cecilia. She uses intuitive gifts to help tap into your inner magic. See, I've told you all this on our platform. I believe we all have something needs unlocking. And sometimes we're our own worst enemies to unlock that. So when you get to have somebody like Cecilia here, take advantage of it. And for those that ain't watching live, go back and watch this recording later on. Okay, you will not be disappointed. Cecilia grew up with an abusive father and suffered from a suicide attempt. And Cecilia, bless your heart, I have suffered from one myself. So
Yeah.
I can relate to you on that scale that is a scary, that is not only not on the bottom rung of the ladder, that is the ladder crushed you. It
Yeah,
did. It
absolutely.
crushed your soul and knocked you down, and you just feel like the end of the world is going to happen. But I believe something it probably inside of you finally made you reach up out of that dirt and just grab that ladder and
Yeah.
begin that climb.
Yeah.
I just really believe that. And this is why I gravitated to you, because sometimes you get that spiritual nature of knowing that there's other people out there across the globe that suffer similar things.
Hmm.
And look what they've been able to accomplish because they
Yep.
don't, one, when they get through it, they want to share their story so that you don't ever fall in that same trap,
That's right.
that you don't ever let that be something that takes you down that. And I'll be frank, don't take you down that road to hell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just have to, because it's a scary thing. And I'm so blessed that you have recovered from that. And not only that, she would often intervene when the father would try it, when her father would try and punch her mom, was also beaten and yelled at herself. Years of trauma affected her later. And in her early 40s, she decided to turn her life around and confront her father. She challenged him, blamed him, but ultimately, after reconciliation and aligned action, she forgave him. Folks, this is such powerful testimony. You have no idea the courage it takes for somebody, especially a child to a parent, for
Yeah.
them to do
For
that.
sure.
So if you're a child out there feeling this, listen to Cecilia. Listen to her. She has got the tools to help you overcome this. Okay. She has got those tools. And so what she ended up doing, she forgave him. They now have a new strong relationship built on forgiveness and trust. And boy, is that a tough thing to do when you've been beaten
Yeah.
by somebody and been kicked down and put down. And to be able to really, if you think about it, Cecilia, you rose above everything.
Yeah.
You
For sure.
really did. You were the light. You became the light. You did not let your suffering define you. You let
Yep.
your suffering guide you to how to
Hmm.
become the light in other people's lives and show them,
Yeah.
folks, we're all different. We're all human. We all have different DNA and makeup, but we also have a temporary time on this world.
Hmm.
And when we learn that, I'm just so I'm so proud of you and so blessed
Oh,
that you would take time to do this, because that is not an easy thing for people to go back and, in some ways it's reliving what you've been through. But if it
mhm.
helps one person out here today, I think we've done what we set out to do.
Yeah.
So, Cecilia has published. She's an author. Okay, folks. So go out and look for her book. She has published an award-winning book called "If I Could, I Would: A Child's Journey from Abuse to Hope." And she uses her story to inspire clients to heal, transform, inspire, and find their authentic selves. Ladies and gentlemen, Cecilia, thank you. Welcome
Oh,
to the 180 Revolution family. We are honored to have you as a part of our family. And for our nearly 1,200 members out there, and we continue to grow, we want you to know, jump on here. Ask the tough questions, because I know this young lady can handle them.
I sure
Okay,
can.
she's been there, done that, so she can definitely handle them. But let me start off by what brought you here to our 180 Revolution team?
Well, you have such a beautiful heart and soul, and you just reached out and you were so kind and gracious, and your energy is what brought me here, my friend. And I think that I really love your messaging and your goodness. When we come from a place of darkness and hurt, it is hard to trust people. It is hard
Yes.
to feel like we can open up our hearts because we've been hurt, we've been burned, we've been scarred, and sometimes that prevents us from wanting to move forward in our lives. It prevents us from wanting to have conversations with other people. It prevents us from wanting to open up and feel like it's okay to do so. And really, it was you who just, who just gave me the solace of knowing that you are a good person with beautiful intention, and that you are here to raise up the vibrational energy of the planet with your good heart and your good love. So that's why I'm here.
Well, I appreciate that, but I'll tell you, I have a team of 5 other folks behind me, and including, this guy is the reason I actually started working with him and actually running this platform for him, is
Yeah.
because it resonates and it's simple. It's steps that sometimes people think they have to go through years and years of therapy and things, and that
Yep.
may help some, and I don't discount that, because you have to find what works. But I found
Yeah.
this so simple, and uh, you know. Uh, having gone through I'm a military retiree. So
Yes.
yesterday when I was doing an event and I got to talk to people, I say, we do understand sacrifice and what people go through. We have seen the scars of war. We have seen things that most people will never see in a lifetime, and we don't want them to.
Yep. That's
And
right.
our whole thing when we finish serving our country to come back out is to add value to other people, and
Mhm.
to say, listen, it shouldn't cost you millions of dollars to add value to people. You should be able to want to take it from your heart, because I believe in a giver's gain mentality.
Yeah, for
If
sure.
I have the tool and you have the tool, why are we not sharing it with others that maybe can't afford the tool?
That's right.
We want to hit
Absolutely.
those 95% of the people in the world that cannot be able to understand that you can get out of something if you're willing to jump in and listen and let people read into you and help you
Mm.
and guide you
Mhm.
along the way. So
100%.
I know I've shared part of your story, but there's more to Cecilia. I know there is. So I'm going to give you this opportunity to share with our audience. Tell them about you and what you got going on and what you've been through.
Well, it's funny, growing up in abuse, it really does paint a certain picture for you as a child where you only understand what you're shown. And sometimes when you're shown a limited perspective, you believe that limited perspective because that's all you are surrounded with. So if someone tells you the sky is pink, but it's really blue, you're going to think it's pink because that's what you've been told. And
Mhm.
when you grow up in a world where maybe the love has been sucked out of it by somebody and by a parent, it really does change the way that you see yourself. And it impacted my whole life, even though my father left when I was 14, and we didn't get back in touch until I was an adult. It really, really was one of the biggest things that I discovered is that coming from trauma, you don't leave that trauma behind. It stays in you, and that it affects how you you live, how you breathe, how you interact, how you feel, how you see yourself. And one of the biggest messages that I want to share with everybody here is that even though you've been in trauma, come from trauma, experienced pain, been in the pain, that does not have to be your defining moment. That does not have to be your story. And that, in fact, it is when you go within, when you look at your internal soul and your spirituality and your wholeness and your healing, that is when you can massively shift. And one of the biggest things that I've seen is that when I started to love myself the way that I knew I deserved to be loved, one of the biggest things that happened when I was 14 in my suicide attempt is I heard a voice, and I'm going to say it was God's voice saying, I love you. You have to learn to love yourself. And it took me all this time into my 40s before I started to really heal in earnest. But the truth is that message has always stayed with me, right? We all have to learn to love ourselves the way we are loved. When we do that, everything changes and everything shifts, everything moves and grows from there. And so one of the biggest things that I think is so important is that people not lose hope because of what they've been through, that they don't carry the burdens of their past as a necessity of life, that we have to be able to transform and transmute that energy into something so that our lives are not a cautionary tale, but instead an inspiring story. Right? We want to inspire people into action, inspire people into change because we have changed, that we're coming back into our wholeness and our healing, back into ourselves to a place of knowing, right? And when you have that knowing and you walk in that understanding and you believe beyond your fear that anything is possible.
Oh man, I mean, you hit the nail right on the head, and when you think about this, we talk about here in the Doc's book, and actually, by the way, for those of you watching out there, you can actually now go and get the free live course to go through the entire book. So you can, and we have coaches that, if you want to extend beyond that, that is something of your choosing. But this is a free opportunity for you to be able to go through. Exactly. Now, Cecilia, when you went through your setback that you suffered, what gave you the courage and the strength? And I know you said the voice that you heard, but it still has to be an action on your part to really continue from, like you said, 26 years, from 14 to 40. That period of time that you went through, the struggles, the ups and downs. What did you learn from that?
I learned that I am the maker of my own reality, that I can decide who I want to be and how I want to be, that I can decide who I'm going to surround myself with. The fact is that when I was broken and in trauma, I attracted other people who were also broken and in trauma. And unfortunately, when you feel down on yourself and you attract that same energy, you could create a lot of toxic cycles of despair. And those toxic cycles of despair are very hard to come out of when you don't have that shining light of okay, there's something better on the other side of this. Like sometimes we settle into the misery because it's all we think we deserve. And at some point, and I talk about this a lot, but the same day that I confronted my dad was the same day my best friend was killed in a car accident, not by a drunk driver, rather.
Yes.
And so her leaving really changed my life. She was somebody who was so close to me, and I was devastated by her loss, and her losing her life actually spurred me to start living mine, because I thought, I was living like I wasn't here already. And so I needed to change that. I had to move the needle, her not being here said to me, okay, I don't have a minute to waste, because you don't know what tomorrow brings. You have no idea what is or isn't coming for you. If you don't operate in the highest resonance, with the highest regard for the goodness of yourself and other people around you, then you are missing the boat, And so I said, I have to change my life. I have no choice. And so after that happened, I literally just changed my entire perspective. And I said, no more sitting in anger, in darkness, in misery, in fear. I'm going to take all of my pain and I'm going to turn it into something purposeful so that I can move my life into a vision of light like never before. And so then I just said, okay, enough is enough. I literally got off my duff. I figured out how I was going to change the way of being and seeing inside of myself. And I said, how can I be more loving? How can I be more love? And so then I just started moving. I started saying, okay, what do I want to do? You know, I had lost my job right after my friend passed. So I thought, what am I going to do with my life? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to become a life coach. You know, one of my friends inspired me with that. So I decided to go forward. I got certified. I had a huge operation. I had to have my whole uterus removed. I had a total hysterectomy because I had pieces in my body that were broken from my trauma. I needed them removed. I needed them healed. It was like a rebirth for me after that operation. And I started fresh. Literally days after I healed, I started coaching right away. And that was this side of, you know, year and a half, 2 years ago. And the rest is kind of history. Like I came out of it and I said, okay, what am I going to do? I want to be a healer. So I studied Reiki and energy healing as well. And I combined that into my skill sets. And I started coaching people. I started changing lives. I started shifting people from a massive, massive place of darkness. I brought them into light. I showed them their own. And then after that, I combined forces with my business partner, who is a graphic designer. And we put together this beautiful business where we incorporate healing, branding, and marketing all together. So then we ended up helping women entrepreneurs. And that's the business I have now. So I literally just shifted from like nothingness into everythingness, because I decided that I wasn't gonna choose suffering anymore. I was gonna choose soul.
Wow. I mean, folks, this doesn't give you some great testimony that, listen, you can look at, she did. She went through, and you know, if you think about it, when you look at the doc's book, you learn to know your truth.
Mm-hmm.
You learn to look in the mirror and say, Cecilia is worth living. She's worth loving. She's worth healing, and she's worth helping. And
Mm-hmm.
you took charge of that. And a
Yeah.
lot of people, like you said, and I love what you had mentioned earlier about when you are feeling down, folks. This is just genuine. I see it happen all the time. I mean, I have it happening in my family right now. And I wish they would just watch and learn that, listen, you can go through these, remove the toxic people from your life.
Yep.
Okay. Because that's what you did. You
Yep.
took toxic people away.
I
You
did.
turned around and you built you an inner circle of trust and love and care
Mm-hmm.
and kindness.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I show people. I tell people this is the key. They just think it's some magical formula. You don't need a PhD to figure this out.
No,
You
you are
just
who you're
need.
surrounded by. You're who you're surrounded by. If you are surrounded by people, now, this is not to say,
Mhm.
and this is the one thing I learned too, right? I bless these people on their way, whoever they are. If they're suffering and they're hurting and they're not for me in this moment, I bless them on their way. Because when someone comes on the attack, which people will, because your spirit will irritate someone else's demons. That's the truth. As the more
Wow.
you shine your light, the more people will be irritated when they are not ready for their own healing and their own heart. And that's okay. You know,
Yep.
because I look at them and I say, yeah, bless you on your way. I hope you find your way. I hope you find your path. I hope you find your peace. You know, because
Mhm.
when someone's going to come at you, it's going to take place, because that's what humanity does sometimes. But then
Yeah.
you have to look at them, and I just, you know what I do? I project 10 times the amount of love for the amount of
Mhm.
dissension or hate that someone puts in my direction. I'm going to
Wow.
send them 10 times the amount of love, because that's what forgiveness is. That's what healing is. That's what unconditional love is. When you can
Yeah.
love somebody who doesn't love themselves, then you're really going to have arrived.
Yeah. Wow, that is so powerful. You know, along your journey, is there a certain, spiritual guide or slogan or something that, when you start feeling those, because we all do, we all can't be on the high all the time.
Yeah,
That's just not reality of life. If you are, you probably got some great drugs.
it's true. It's true. It's true.
Okay. You could be that zombie in the machine, but the reality is sometimes we just need that. I call it the go-to thing. Like there may be a spiritual or a slogan or something that you just pick up and you go, when I read this, it centers me. It brings me back to where I need to be so I can keep pressing forward. Is there one
Yep.
that you would share?
Yeah, I have this. I write it inside of all of my books. You are the love that you seek and the light after the dark. It's you. You're the answer to your own prayers. That's the
Wow.
truth, right? Because when you
Yeah.
when you like when we go searching outside of ourselves for everything, we lose sight of what's really important, right? Like
Mhm.
if we're gonna be more godlike in our life, then we go back to God. Where's God? In here,
Yeah.
right?
That's
God is
true.
in here.
He
And
is, and that's so powerful that you say that, because
yeah,
I tell people, and I have no problems telling them, listen, I don't belong to a church because I belong to God.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that's where He is. He's inside you to that guide you, and you have to internalize a lot of things and understand your own mind, your own psyche, and sometimes what you cloud yourself with.
yep,
When I'm doing a session with people, when I'm doing coaching too, I go, think about this. Every day you have thousands of bytes of information coming into you, right?
mm-hmm,
And sometimes it blocks out that true person in you.
yep,
And a
that's
lot
right.
of times it is that negative energy. And so
Mm-hmm,
my thing is, I want to clear that away for you and show you, listen, let's pull that light bulb, as you say. I tell people they're flickers sometime because they
yep,
want to come out, but they don't. They let all that other information grind them up and chew them up. And they don't realize you can unlock that, get rid of it if you just internalize in your own self and say, look in that mirror and say, who do I control? Me.
yeah,
I don't
that's it.
control
That's all you
nobody
can do.
else.
No
I
one.
control me. So, how can our 180 family add value to you?
Add value to me. Well, you know what? I would love to just connect with people. If you guys want to come and connect with me, reach out. I'm always open for conversations and giving loving support and kindness to each other. I think when we uplift each other, then we are better together. I'm always somebody who's just open, like I said, to just share and give love. That's really my purpose on this earth. And so, that would be the best way. Come and get in touch with me. Let me know where you're at. If I can help you, I'm here to help. If I can listen to you, I'm here to listen. But that's the best way, because I'm of love, so I give and receive openly, and that's my purpose. So if anyone feels called and resonated to do so, I welcome that, and they can get in touch with me. I'm on Facebook.
She sure is, folks. And I tell you, I follow her. She knows that because, I like positive people. See, that's the other thing, folks, I would tell you. Not only do you need to gravitate to people like Cecilia, you need to understand these are people that have positive energy. See,
Yeah,
when you're feeling that negative vibe, and you just think that the world's just not doing it for me, and we all know on social media it can really do that to you. Heck,
yeah,
even the national media can do that to you. If you surround yourself and allow positive people like Cecilia to be a part of your circle of influence, circle of life,
yeah.
this will make our planet so much better because we have people like her that care. Cecilia, as we close out our
Well,
interview session today, I want to give you the opportunity to share any last minute thing that you'd like to share with our audience.
I want each and every one of you to love yourselves fully and freely and absolutely, to know that that is the secret to all the questions in life. When you are worried about something, when you are concerned, when you are feeling down and downtrodden, I want you to come back to your center and come back to heart and come back to you, because that is where everything lies. And you are never alone. Don't ever give up on yourself, because you're worth it. You're worth every second and every moment of inner faith that you have in you. And when you find your path, walk it boldly and bravely and absolutely. And I will be here to bear witness and to hold grace and space for you.
Well, thank you so much, Cecilia, for taking time out of I know it's a very busy schedule, but you're a breath of fresh air. You have the positive vibe. I like the people that really get it. They really understand our whole goal in life is to help others see what we see.
Hmm. Thank you
That
so much,
we
Michael.
can actually help you if you're willing to reach out. So, folks, remember, I'm going to do a live series here on the actual new platform. So you'll see that coming up here in a few days, where we'll get the opportunity to walk you through how you can sign up. I can show you. I'm an open book, so you're going to see what I've actually gone through when I went through this book and the series and the things that it's a simple process, and then it could lead you to people like Cecilia
Oh.
that really want to help you. These are the kind of coaches that you want. They're
Oh,
positive. They're about helping you unlock what you have inside and showing you that you are a light, and you don't want that light to be flickered out. You want it
yeah.
to shine bright, because the more lights that shine bright, the brighter our world will be. Thank you, Cecilia, for taking time
Thank
out of
you so
your
much.
schedule, and I'll chat with you in a minute.
My honor. Thank you.